righty. Well, thank you all for joining us today for Sound Stewardship's webinar on Social Security myths. I have the pleasure of hosting this webinar with my colleague Matt Syverson. He's the founder of Sound Stewardship, started the firm back in 2004. So we're going to have a fun, lively discussion around Social Security and some myths you might have heard around that. So Matt, thank you for taking time out of your day to join us for this discussion.
Yeah, very welcome, Derek. Happy to be here. It's going to be an amazing discussion on all these Social Security myths that are flying around, and we'll try to make it as practical as possible for you, especially if you're in that age 62 to 70 range or approaching that sooner and later. There's going to be a lot of great content here to help you make some good decisions with your Social Security elections.
That's great. And keep in mind, as we're going through the webinar, as questions come up, feel free to use the Q&A feature in Zoom, not the chat, Q&A there, asking you your questions. If they're more specific in nature, we might follow up kind of offline with some of those questions, but just feel free to send over anything that comes to mind as we're going through the presentation. We'd love to answer those. So, alrighty, Matt. So when we think about Social Security this year, it feels like it's been more social than secure. And so as we think about that, why does the timing of Social Security matter?
Yeah, so glad you asked. That there is a lot of financial benefit for you from the Social Security program. Just the average retiree that takes on Social Security for about 20 years would essentially get close to $600,000. That's just the average person across
Yeah.
20 years. About 2,000 a month with cost of living adjustments and things like that. So for most of our clients that have typically higher incomes over
Hmm.
their lifetime, they're easily into seven figures of benefit across their lifetimes. And so there's a lot of dollars riding on these decisions for
Yeah.
themselves, for their spouse, for their families. So super important to make some good decisions around the timing of this.
Yeah, it definitely carries a little weight to it when you put that number of, hey, this could be a $1 million decision here that we're making. So yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And as we tune in 2025, those of you that were born in 1955 turned 70 this year, which is the latest you can choose to elect your Social Security benefit. And on the other end, and the other side is if you're born in 1960, you're going to be 65 this year. So that's just a couple age milestones. That's a common age for Medicare, not necessarily Social
Hmm.
Security. But if you're 65 today, there's some newer features for those born in 1960 than for those born before 1960, and I'll explain that in just a moment. But one little thing you need to be aware of, it's called full retirement age, or FRA. And that's the age at which you become eligible to receive 100% of your benefit for Social Security without any reduction based on where you're working or what you're up to in your lifetime. So there's a couple different full retirement age benefits for those on the call today. And the clue, age 65 is not your full retirement age. Do you mind if I share real quickly what birth years that applies to, Derek?
Yeah, I think that'd be good. Especially yeah, there's a lot of different if you're born this and that and this, there's a
Yeah,
lot of different ages to kind of look through. And so you're like, well, where do I land on this? Is it
yeah,
65? Is it, is it 67 and
yeah,
somewhere in between? So yeah, I think that'd
yeah,
be good to share that.
yeah.
Let me get that.
So those of you that were blessed to be born 1954 and earlier, you've probably already made your Social Security decision. But those folks, their full retirement age was 66. Age 66. Starting 1955 birth year through 1959,
Hmm.
your full retirement age has been 66 and some months. So if
Yep.
you're born 1955 to 1959, you're like, wait a second, I know it's 66 and some months here and there. It was 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, lots of different combinations there. But then when we get to those born in 1960 or later, The current full retirement age for those birth years is age 67. Okay, and we'll talk later that might increase down the road, but for now, if you're born 1960 or later, age 67 is your full retirement age. But one bonus myth busting. Hey, Derek, is age 65 anyone's full retirement age on
Nope.
this call?
Nope.
No is the correct answer. If you're on the call, you're either 66 in some
Yep.
months or you're 67. Okay.
Yep.
That's just important backdrop to have for full retirement age discussion.
Yeah, so let's get into myth number one. Um, people think around start, we talk about the full retirement age and when to start benefits. And so can someone start benefits whenever and not have any consequences?
Well, Derek, let me share. You can start them as early as age 62,
Okay.
but that might permanently reduce your benefit, or not might, that will permanently reduce your monthly benefit.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. Therefore, if you wait until full retirement age, which is like we said, 66 or 67 these days, that's when you'll receive 100% of your benefit.
Okay.
Now, but if you wait until age 70, do you know how much your benefit increases each year that you wait beyond your full retirement age? What percent does it increase each year?
I think it's around 8%, is it not?
Ding, ding, ding. That is
Okay.
it. That is it. So for those 66 waiting until 70, that's a 32% increase across 4 years if you
Yeah.
wait until age 70 to start. That's a big difference. We love seeing that in the market. Wouldn't
Yeah.
you love seeing that in your income as well? Uh,
Yeah.
on the flip side, if you start at 62, that's anywhere from 25 to 30% of reduction of your benefit. Okay, so that's if we kind of center on your full retirement age, if we back up to 62,
Yeah.
that's about a 30% reduction. If you wait until 70, it's about a 30%
30%.
increase. Okay, so big differences in the timing there.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other piece I want to talk about is, Derek, if you file before full retirement age and keep working, did you know there is a earnings penalty if you earn above a certain amount? Were you aware of that?
Yeah. What is that penalty?
Okay. So if you file before full retirement age and this year you make over 23,400 of earned income, for every dollar of benefit, uh, uh, you'll have $1 benefit reduced for every $2 that you earn over that 23,400.
Okay.
So someone said, "Well, I thought you just signed up at 65 and away you go." And
Yeah.
but if they keep working and make more than 23,400, for every $2 they earn, they're going to reduce that benefit by 1%. We already had a reduction of benefit,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You're getting two haircuts at that point.
two haircuts. Exactly.
And you better like where you're working though.
Yes, I hope you like
Yeah.
where you're working because
Yeah.
yeah, you might have to work even harder because you're reducing your
Yeah.
Social Security benefit in the meantime. So here at Sound Stewardship, we love people to work. Working is good. We were
Hmm.
built to work. God designed it that way.
Yep.
So if you're like, well, I'm done with my regular full-time job at 62, that's fine.
Yep.
That doesn't mean you automatically sign up for Social Security at 62. Keep on working. Make as much as you want doing something different, something that you like even more. But we're going to leave Social Security off the table until you're done making over $23,400. Okay. And try to help you wait until full retirement age. Okay. Or even maybe to 70 if that works for you. So just because you're kind of done with full-time work doesn't mean you automatically start Social Security.
Um, Question came through, and let's see if I can get this through. Is the percentage age reduction and increase mentioned when pulling Social Security early, 62, or later, 70? Is that reflected in the monthly amount received or the total amount able to collect for the remainder of your life?
Yeah, it's the monthly amount. Let's see. If we wait, let's do that. Wait till 70. That's reflected in the monthly amount that carries on the rest of your life.
Hmm.
If you file earlier than full retirement age and then let's pretend you don't do any more work. That is a permanent reduction that doesn't bump up even when you achieve full retirement age, except for
Hmm.
cost of living adjustments. So if you start at 62 and you're earning 1,400 a month at 62, it's not going to bump up any more than just cost of living adjustments over time. Am I answering the question right, do you think?
Yeah, I think you're capturing that as it's yeah, any kind of reduction or increase is going to show up in the monthly.
Yes, yeah. Now, if you file at 62 and then you worked more than you thought, and then you have further reductions, that's just a temporary reduction based on earnings.
Yeah.
If you stop working and can rely on Social Security and your other resources at that point, there's no additional reduction. But
Yeah. Another good question came through is around the earnings penalty. So for every $2 earned over that 23,400, it reduces the benefit by 1%
one
or by
dollar,
a $1. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Good.
it's a
Good.
two for $1 ratio.
Yeah. Yeah. These are great questions. Keep them coming.
Yeah,
Um, good. So are we ready for myth number two,
I
Matt?
think so.
Okay, so this has kind of been a hot button item in 2025, but social security benefits, are they no longer taxable? What's going on there?
Okay, to be clear, Social Security benefits are taxable at the federal level, no doubt about it.
Okay.
Okay, so there has been a lot of confusion around that, and
Mm-hmm.
we'll talk about what happened as part of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act that was passed on July 4th. But rest assured, for better or worse, Social Security benefits are taxable at the federal level. And what that means is that and here's where lots of charts and graphs could be helpful, but I'll just try to keep this simple. Um, Depending on your combined income, up to 85% of your Social Security benefits are exposed to federal taxation. Okay. But you might be at a low income tax bracket that 0% of your Social Security is taxed. So there's
Mm-hmm.
kind of three levels. 0% is taxed, 50% is exposed to taxation, or 85% is exposed to taxation. Most of our clients are experiencing Social Security benefits exposed to that 85% tax level. Okay.
Yeah.
And the semantics are a little confusing. I'm trying to be careful. 85% of your benefit is exposed to taxation doesn't mean they take 85% of your
Right.
benefit.
Yes. Yeah.
Right? It's just blended into your what they call combined income. Okay. So combined income, there's always these definitions, but is your adjusted gross income plus any municipal or non-taxable income plus half of your Social Security benefits. That's what combined income means. And it's from that calculation they determine, are you none of it's taxed, half of it is exposed to taxation, or 85% of it is exposed to taxation. Is that making sense, Derek?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I got you there. And so really, when you think about some strategies of well, how do if I don't want to be at that 85%, like what are some things that you've seen people do?
Well, the best way to reduce your exposure to income tax is to reduce your income, which may not be possible for most of our clients. So
Hmm.
it's a very tight window from the 0 to 85%. So for example, if you're married filing jointly and your combined income is over 44,000 per year, boom,
Yeah.
85% of it is exposed to taxation. On the flip side, if your combined income is under 32,000 for married filing jointly, then 0% is exposed. So there's only it's 32,000 to 44,000 is the window. It's a very tight window.
Yeah.
If you're filing as a single filer, it's 25,000 and under, 0% exposure to taxation. 34,000 and up, 85% is exposed to taxation. So I don't know many people that want to reduce their income below 44,000 for married couples or below 34,000 for individuals. So anyway, most of our clients are exposed to 85% taxation level.
Yeah. And we're talking right now on the federal taxes, but can you kind of highlight what happens on the
Mm.
state side?
Yeah. So also to be clear, check on your states, because I know folks are listening all over the country. Check on your state's decision on are they taxing Social Security or not. Here in the great state of Kansas, recently they made a ruling that they are not taxing Social Security benefits in Kansas for those of Social Security age. Same goes for Missouri, our neighboring state. Same goes for Iowa, my home state, my beloved Hawkeyes. Okay. So there's three little states in a row that don't tax Social Security. You might be living in another one of those states that doesn't tax Social Security, but that's only on your state tax return. Okay, so that's super helpful because some of our clients have, 60, 70, $80,000 of Social Security benefits. When that's removed from the state tax return, wow, that makes a big difference when you multiply by the typical 5% tax rate for states. So one hot tip though is, so be clear on what your state is up to this year. If you need to, because Social Security benefits are taxed at the federal level, most people don't realize that you can elect some voluntary tax withholding on your Social Security benefits. There's like four different levels, four different percentages that you can click a box. There's a special form that we can help you fill out and submit to Social Security, but it's very helpful to let your Social Security benefit withhold some federal tax for you to solve some of your tax planning. For those of you 65 and older and enjoying Medicare, you already know that your Medicare Part B premium
Mm-hmm.
comes off of your Social Security benefit, but you can also tap it for federal withholding besides.
Good. Yeah, that's always a thing that people don't realize is the tax withholding. We'd like to have it kind of pro rata approach of okay, well, if your IRAs, we're doing withholding on that. Let's make sure pension income's got withholding, and then Social Security, like let's make sure they are all paying their fair share of the tax bill
Yeah,
come April there. So that's good.
yeah.
Um,
If you're about to file or just now starting to file for your Social Security election, what we're realizing, I mean, we literally had someone come in this week. They turned 70, start elected to file for their benefit. Nowhere in that filing process does it say, hey, John Doe, how much would you like to withhold for federal taxes? It
yeah,
does not show up. So if you're like, whoa, I never knew you could do this, it doesn't show up in the election process. It's always an after the fact thing from what we're seeing and hearing from clients.
yeah.
So make sure to check on that when you get to that point.
Yeah. It's good to be proactive there instead of getting a little nasty gram in April. So,
Yeah.
yeah, good. All right, Matt. Myth number three: Social Security is going bankrupt. Can you
Uh-huh.
unpack that for me?
Yes, and this has been talked about since I started in this business back in 2000.
Okay.
It's a common fear, but not completely accurate.
Okay.
The Social Security Trust Fund is projected to be depleted in the 2030s, but even then, payroll taxes, those employees that are currently paying into the Social Security system will continue to fund about 75 to 80% of the benefits. That's not 100%, Derek.
Right.
So we have more retirees tugging on Social Security than employees kicking in payroll taxes, but it's projected to cover about 75 to 80% of benefits. So Congress does need to take action to address that shortfall before it happens.
Yeah. So, what are some things that Congress could do to fix the issue to get
Yeah,
back to that 100%
yeah.
benefit?
Well, and what we need to realize is while you've been waiting to enter that age 62 to 70 window, there are a variety of things that have happened behind the scenes. We started this presentation with those born before 1954 started at 66. Well, those born 1960 or later, they started at 67. So right off the bat, it's a 1 year shift, which may not seem like a lot, but 1 year, 1 year can make a big difference. But the other thing that you may not have noticed behind the scenes is there's called the Social Security wage base. So It's the amount of your workplace income that is exposed to Social Security payroll withholding um, is capped at a certain amount. This year in 2025, that wage base is up to 176,100. So if you're, let's pretend you make exactly that amount, 176,100. That means up until that number, you're paying 6.2% as the employee into the Social Security system, and your employer is paying the other half or the other 6.2% into the Social Security system. Once you start earning beyond 176,100 of W-2 or payroll income, then Social Security stops. And oftentimes our clients say, oh, it's around about sometimes it's as early as February, sometimes it's as early as or late as August, September. Oh, I finally got a little bit of relief in my paycheck because I've passed my Social Security wage base.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, even 10, 15 years ago, that wage base is all the way down to about 120,000.
Okay.
Okay. So just while we've been hanging out the past 10, 15 years, that wage base has increased over 50 grand to expose that much more income to 6.2% heading into it. Okay. So the the proposal is that might contribute even more. Okay. So
Okay.
then um, the other thing is along with that 6.2% rate, they might increase that. It might go to, they might add another 0.2%. So
Gotcha.
the employer and employer are splitting 12.6% instead of 12.4%. It might even go as high as 14.4%, which would be a 2% increase that's
Yeah.
split between the employees and employers. So the yeah, so no one wants that to happen to their paycheck, but do you think it might need to happen, Derek?
Yeah, it very well could. What are some other things besides increasing that the payroll tax rate? What are some other things you've heard or anticipate
Yeah.
could be
I
in play?
I just wonder if they need to start increasing that full retirement age just all the way to 70. We
Yeah.
went from 66 to
Hmm.
67. I just wonder if we're going to need to head towards 70 for full retirement age. And anything before that will be a reduction or, have that earnings penalty along the way. So,
Yeah.
and there's other things in the works, but we need more employed workers
Yeah.
to help build the system and withholding more, and we need um, tighter rules around who can file. There could be means testing, all kinds of different things to ultimately fix this thing. But there's multiple levers to be able to pull.
Yeah. Yeah. So what would you say your kind of opinion around it is? It's going to be around, just look different, or we're going to make the changes we need to get to the 100%? Like, where do you kind of land on this just personally?
Yeah, yeah. And I think I have zero control over this issue.
Okay.
except helping when to file. But
Right.
um, rest assured that there's the vast majority of the benefits are going to be there just because
Hmm.
of the way the system's built. But I think there's going to be enough changes made to shore it up over time.
Yeah.
There's so many levers that can be pulled. You may not
Yeah.
like how you personally get affected, but I think there's going to be enough levers pulled that we can make it happen. I'm typically optimistic, but if you're on the pessimistic side, uh, one comment that we commonly have with retirees is um, you have needed to save a lot more than what Social Security is going to be providing anyway.
Hmm.
Don't plan on retiring on Social Security. Create other resources for yourself far beyond what the Social Security benefit is going to be, so that you're not stuck in this spot of, my benefit reduced 20%. How am I going to survive?
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Alrighty. Well, myth number four: you can't get benefits if you've never worked. So,
Hmm.
is that is that true?
Well, I don't know, Derek. Normally, you have to have worked 40 quarters
Okay.
to about 10 years to qualify for your own Social Security benefit. But what if your spouse stayed home with the kids?
Yeah.
their entire working lifetime.
Yeah.
And they worked. I know my wife, who takes care of our four amazing kids, works much harder than I do, Derek. I don't know if you've noticed, if you
Oh
feel that
yeah.
too.
Yeah,
Yeah. I know
there's not a day
Tracy's working
off.
harder than you do. I mean, you
That's
work
right.
hard, Derek.
Yeah. That's
Tracy
right.
blows your doors off
Oh yeah, she
with
puts in the hours for sure.
yes, yeah. But the really cool thing about Social Security is even if you had zero credits, zero quarters of earned income employment, and you stay married, then your spouse, once they reach their full retirement age, will get half of the other spouse's benefits just for being married. Okay, 50% of the working
Nice.
spouse's benefit is available to the non-working spouse. So that's great. Okay.
Yeah.
So where this comes up is sometimes we'll have um, empty nesters where the husband keeps cranking away or the wife keeps cranking away in their corporate work. And but then the spouse that is kind of done raising all the kids out of the house, they want to go back to work. And they ask, well, shouldn't I be making more in order to boost my Social Security benefit? Well, the math of it probably says you're never going to catch up to half of what the working spouse's benefit will be for you. So feel free to work and earn an income however you want to and be fulfilled in that way, but don't do it to try to juice your Social Security benefit because you're probably not going to get to half anyway. Don't do it for that purpose. Do it because you feel God's leading you to do some good work out in the community. Is that making
Yeah.
sense?
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. And you're talking here about spousal benefits. Are there other type of benefits someone could get?
Well, like, yeah. So if we, do you mean from a like a widower's benefit or a
Could be,
widow
yeah.
benefit? Is that what you mean from a survivor
Yeah.
benefit? Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so when and if your spouse passes away, then you get to choose the higher of the two benefits. Okay. So if you've been working along, let's pretend someone turns 70, they have the first high benefit, the other spouse turns 67, now can turn on half of that benefit, and you move along 5, 10, 20 years. If the older spouse passes away, then that younger spouse simply takes on whatever that higher benefit was for themselves for the rest of their lifetime. You only get to keep one benefit when there's only one of you in the household, but there definitely is a survivor benefit where you pick the higher of the two once the spouse passes. Is that clear enough?
Yeah, yeah, that's good. That's good. And then I think there's some other benefits too. I know my wife and I met with our advisor and just talked about, well, I'm not anywhere near age 67 or 70. So what happens if I kick the bucket early
Yes.
before that? While we still have kids, are there things in
Yes.
place for Social Security at that point?
Yeah, because you have those 40 quarters in, I mean, you are fully paid into Social Security at this point, and you're going to keep going, Lord willing. The your children will receive survivor benefits, and your wife will receive survivor benefits up until the point they reach 17. Then your wife can turn on another Social Security benefit when she gets over 60. 60 and a half is the widow's benefit that she can turn on if she chooses, or she can wait even longer to get more. So
Yeah,
there is not only disability, but also survivor benefits for the younger ones, as well as the spouse caring for the younger ones.
yeah. No, that's good. Yeah, there's a lot of different scenarios that come into play with Social Security system. I know when we had somebody from the Social Security office give a talk, they mentioned it takes 8 years to like know the system just because of all the nuances of the
Mm.
different scenarios and whatnot and how that impacts benefits and whatnot. So there's a lot of things to consider with Social Security,
Yeah,
depending on your situation there for sure.
a lot of details and nuances to be aware of, that's for sure.
Yes, yeah. Matt, do you want to hop to number 5 on the
Yep, let's do it.
myth list? All
I'm
right.
ready.
Okay. Um, Number 5. you should always wait until age 70 to claim your benefit.
Okay. So here's the deal. I'll give you the, I'm not an attorney, nor do I play one on TV, but it depends.
Okay?
You remember we talked about delaying your benefit from 66 or 67 to 70,
Yeah.
increases that payout by 8%, right?
Yep.
So that seems like a no-brainer. It depends on factors like your health, your life expectancy, your financial needs at the time, and your marital status. Okay. So it's very common for our married couple, uh, for those clients who are married couple, it's very common for the higher income earner to wait till 70,
Okay.
even if the lower income earner or the non-working spouse turns theirs on at full retirement age. Okay. But this is where if you wait and can live into your mid 80s or so, it can add hundreds of thousands of dollars to your Social Security benefits over time. This is where it might have already been seven figures of benefits. Now we're going to add hundreds of thousands more
Yeah.
if we wait to file at 70, and you can live into the mid 80s and beyond.
Yeah.
Okay. So one funny, not funny joke we have around here is if you invite us to your funeral one day, uh, we're gonna be able to tell you when you should have filed for Social Security.
Yep.
This whole thing is based on life expectancy. So if you're not feeling so good today, you're mid 60s, not in good health, heredity says you ain't gonna make it past 75, there's a very good case that you should probably get it started. Um, with the caveats of, okay, then don't make more than 23,400 at your work, so then it penalizes you further. So still need to be careful there. But if you're not going to make it into your 80s, then there's a good case for starting it possibly before even full retirement age.
Yeah.
Okay, is that making sense?
Oh yeah. 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 So there's just some factors to consider, and there's just kind of weighing how that interacts with your plan,
Yeah,
as um, and how that impacts your spouse,
yeah,
and yeah. So there's definitely some layers to that decision there.
yeah.
Let's
So,
see.
and it doesn't mean that both spouses have to wait till 70. I think I touched on that just a moment. There is a little bit of a middle ground where the higher earner waits till 70, the lower earner can wait, at least turn on the other person's at full retirement age. Okay. So yeah, so depending on ages and the makeup, it's very possible that somebody might turn theirs on while the other one waits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in the old days, this was probably 15 years ago, there used to be a strategy. It doesn't exist anymore. Okay. This is not a thing now, but there used to be a strategy where you'd elect each other's benefits, half of each other's benefit, and then wait until you turn 70 and then flip to this much larger benefit. So you you had all these half earnings
Yeah.
where you're waiting to turn to 70, and then you both flip to the higher amount at 70. That's another example of they put the kibosh on that, and
Yeah.
then that took a little load off the Social Security system. That's
Yeah.
another
Yeah.
change that's happened just in
Yeah.
my career.
Yeah. Matt, a question came up is, so what is the approximate break even for starting Social Security? So, for example, is age 62, is that break even? If you start at age 62, you got to get to age 70, or if you start benefits at 70, you need to get to age 78. What are those break even
Yeah.
estimates that you're seeing?
Yeah. So in doing our research, the interwebs said if you start at 62, you need to live at least to age 84. Okay, as your break even analysis, versus let's see, yeah, instead of waiting until 70, if you started at 62, if you died at 84, that would have been okay to have started at 62. Am I making sense there?
Hmm.
Versus if you start at 70, you've got to get past 84
Yeah.
in order to make that better for you.
Yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, if you start at 67, the break even between the strategies is 86.
Okay.
Okay, so you got to get past 86 for the age 70 to make sense.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of this comes down to, okay, um, life expectancy and all that good stuff for you in particular. But the
Hmm.
point is, it's mid 80s. You need to get past that in order to make sure starting at 70 was worth it to you.
Yeah.
However, what I want to be clear about is if you wait till 70, you're married, wait till 70, and then you pass away, your spouse, who may have been earning less, or may have been getting less, he or she will get that higher age 70 benefit the rest of their lives. So it's not like it goes away. So you still did improve your surviving
Hmm.
spouse's benefit by waiting till 70 for the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Okay? So that's something to be aware
Yeah.
of.
Well, and I appreciate you pointing that out because that's where looking at the plan, say the husband, hey, I'm going to, early 80s, before 84, 85.
Mhm.
The wife is like, hey, I'm going to 105. Okay,
Yeah,
well, let's look and see what's needed there, right?
yeah,
Just
yeah,
because you don't hit your break even age doesn't still mean that it's not the right
yeah,
play to
yeah,
to pursue there. So yeah,
yeah.
that's a good. I appreciate you pointing that out.
Yeah.
Another question came through. Can you kind of unpack the idea the spouse is turning on benefit before full retirement age?
Hmm.
So what? Say the higher earner is turning on the benefit before full retirement age. What kind of impact does that have on spousal and survivor benefits?
Yeah. So whenever you turn on benefits prior to full retirement age, that's a permanent reduction of benefit. So that's a trickle down. Let's pretend the other spouse didn't make as much as you did. So that's a permanent, now you got half of a lesser amount,
Yeah,
right? So no, not good.
yeah,
So just make sure you know full well what that's going to do if either of you are doing an early election.
yeah.
Okay.
Good, good.
Now one kind of philosophical discussion, if someone says, you know what, I'm not worried about taking as much as I can out of Social Security. I've got plenty. God has provided for us immeasurably. You could start at 62 and just take the lower benefit and be done with it. Okay.
Hmm.
We have had clients do that. They're like, I'm not worried about it. We've got plenty. Start at 62 and be done with it. Because they were done working, no more earned income. Fine. So you might have a philosophical decision or a
Yeah,
conviction to make around it. No problem. What we can show through software and spreadsheets and dorky analysis is why might you have wanted to wait. But if you feel convicted to start it earlier, that's fine. You just got to put up with the consequences
hmm,
and be
yeah,
okay with that.
yeah, yeah, for sure. Oh, this is a good question because this is kind of in our bonus section, I think.
Okay.
And
Did we tell
so
them about the bonus section?
I did not bring that up. I was going to
I
save
think we
that.
just did, that we do have some
Okay.
bonus myths, but
Yes.
okay.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
this kind of kicks that off there, I feel like. So someone say they already turned on Social Security benefit,
yeah.
but now they kind of have a little bit buyer's remorse around that. Like, I wish I would have held off on that. Are
Okay.
they able to reverse that decision?
Hmm.
What are their options at that point?
Yeah, okay. So yeah, so the myth is, sorry, Charlie, you can't undo your claiming decision. However, you have a one-time opportunity to what's called withdraw your application within 12 months of starting your benefit. So if you got buyer's remorse within 12 months, you're like, oh no, what did I just do? I didn't realize all this bad stuff was going to happen. Okay, you got one chance within 12 months of starting, but here's the kicker. You got to pay back all the benefits you received in order to kind of reset the clock and start at a later date at the higher rate. You with me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I guess if you're banking your payments, that's fine, but most people aren't doing that. So at that point,
Yeah.
you're gonna start taxing other accounts or
Yes.
whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so the average is 2 grand a month for Social
Hmm.
Security benefits, just across the country, not with our clients, but across the country, 2 grand a month.
Yeah.
So if you're within the first 12 months, it's somewhere around up to 20-ish grand you might have to send back in. And if you
Yeah.
started it because you absolutely needed it, oh, that's going to be a difficult check to write.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciate you pointing that out. I think a lot of people don't know about that feature. It's not, I would say it's not super common, but it is something that can be an outlet if needed.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
so another really good question came up, and I think this is part of the bonus section too. Someone, they're returning to the workplace, and they've started their Social Security income. Can the amount of their benefit ever increase? We talked about that reduction there, but can there ever be an increase for the new salary that they're earning over the remaining years?
Yeah. So have we started Social Security yet or not?
Social Security has started
Okay,
in
has
this
started. So
example. Yeah.
where the increase happens is primarily through cost of living adjustments. So each year, about this time in the fall, and just give it another month or so, Social Security will declare what the cost of living adjustment is going to be. The projection for 2026, what we'll see if this plays out, is around a 2.7 to 2.8% increase for next year's benefit. Okay. So
Okay.
each year, there's an opportunity for a cost of living adjustment. I've been doing this 25 years. We typically in our system, we typically project about a 2% cost of living adjustment on average. We've seen zeros.
Hmm.
We've seen, what was it, when inflation was bananas, we've seen, maybe it was a 7 or 8% increase. It was crazy. But around 2% is what we would project for you. And it just happens to be 2.7 to 2.8 is what is being predicted for 2026. That address
Okay.
the question enough?
Yeah, I think so. Um, so we've talked about a lot about Social Security, but I don't think we've talked like what's the max benefit someone could receive in 2025?
Yeah, I need to look that up, but it's around 4,000, 4,000-ish per month is
Okay.
kind of where you kind of top out.
Okay. Okay. Good. Yeah. So definitely, definitely something to shoot for.
Yeah.
Get that higher benefit there.
Yeah, and when you
Um,
see if you had two high income earners and they're both earning 4,000 plus per month or both
mhm.
receiving 4,000 plus per month from Social Security, I mean, we're almost 100,000 just from Social Security. So
Yeah.
that's why 85% of that's going to be exposed to taxation, no doubt about it, just from the Social Security benefit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
okay.
And on that max, that's the 4,000. That's kind of anchored to the full retirement age, and if you wait, that's going to be closer to that 5,000 mark there
Yeah, it just
for
keeps moving up.
2025 and
And then
whatnot.
cost of
So,
living adjustments on top of
yep,
that,
yeah,
right? Yeah.
yep, definitely, definitely,
Yeah.
good. Well, Matt, is there anything in the bonus section that we haven't covered that you're like, oh, Derek, I was hoping you were going to ask me this. I feel like,
Well, one thing that's important to share is that Social Security, the department is a big system that covers lots of different folks. So one thing we didn't touch on today, but we absolutely uh, handle at Sound Stewardship is financial planning for folks with special needs. So there's Social Security disability income if you get disabled after you've already been working and maybe you have the 40 quarters in. There's that kind of system, which we have someone going through that right now, unfortunately. And I've got a daughter who turned 18. She's this year she has Down syndrome. Lily, she's amazing. But then there's the supplemental security income. So for those who are disabled prior to 18 and didn't have a chance to work or the disabled
hmm
from birth, um, then there's Social Security, supplemental security income is another form of monthly benefit for them for the rest of their life with lots of rules and lots of intricacies and lots of pitfalls. But just know that Social Security isn't just for retirees. As we
okay,
talked about before, it's for survivors,
hmm
it's for folks who become disabled, folks that have a special need from birth. So there's a lot of folks covered by Social Security, and we can help with all the different versions that apply to your family with lots of cutting edge software and tax planning to help you figure it all out for your situation.
Good, good. And last question that came through here is uh, someone who, let's see, okay, heard that you can claim benefits from a previous spouse. So a
Mhm.
divorced couple, how does that work?
Yeah, that gets tricky, and I don't want to trip anybody up on today's call, but it's there are some rules around the age you got divorced. There was a divorce
Mm-hmm.
situation, is that what you said? And
Yes.
then whether or not you remarry.
Yep.
Okay, so
Yeah.
so if you're over 60, get divorced and don't remarry, there's absolutely a benefit to receive back from the ex-spouse, depending on their age, that you can claim. Okay, especially if you weren't the high income earner, there's absolutely
Mm-hmm.
a benefit you can claim on the ex-spouse as long as you don't remarry. Okay, but I don't want to speak too much into that. There's lots of special
Yep.
rules, and number of years you have to wait, and um, so more involved with that one.
Yeah, yeah. Just know it is a possibility, and then you just have to kind of provide more details to the Social Security office to kind of
Mhm.
get that uncovered there. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
definitely something in play.
And we always, to the extent you can go back to the source at the Social Security office and you
Yes,
find a good one,
yes.
they can tend to help really well at the Social Security office if you find a good one. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
then we supplement that information you're giving with
Yep.
our input and our knowledge of what we've seen with clients. So we can kind of wrap around you and just make sure we're making a good decision and seeing what your possibilities are.
Yeah, this is good. Well, thank you, Matt, for taking time to share and unpack some of these myths around Social Security. I really enjoyed our discussion. Thank you all for joining us. Next month, we're going to have a webinar on identity theft and kind of the cyber security, cyber attacks. We're going to have Leland Blank, Detective Leland Blank from the Kansas City Police Department. So he was on a webinar back in 2023. We're going to bring him back, talk about AI. That's kind of the hot button subject in that space there. So I'm really excited to hear from him and just kind of some helpful tips and tricks for next month on around ID theft there. So thank you all for joining us today. Stay tuned for some follow-up materials, a recording of this webinar. But we appreciate you all joining us and have a good rest of your day. Take care. Bye.
Take care, buddy. Bye.